What's going on, everybody? This is Afro Think Tank. You white supremacists are pathetic. You are so pathetic. The reason why you guys are dying and losing power is because of the actions you guys are taking right now. You see, you guys are concentrating on the Somalis, right? All the problems of America, right? All the problems that your people, the white men in suits, those rich white people in suits, all the money that they steal from your community, all your Republican politicians who steal from you every single day, all the political scams that they play on you every single day, stealing your taxpayers' money, all of it. The president of the United States, who you support, stealing your money by the tune of billions upon billions upon billions upon billions upon billions of dollars to give to his rich friends, right? Whether it be rich Arabs or rich white Europeans. And what do you white people do? Once again, it's so easy to manipulate you racist ass, po, ignorant ass white folk. And I'm only talking, the good white folk, stay out of this, all right? Because I know y'all feel the same way I feel. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to you, you easily gullible, manipulative, po ass white American. Y'all are so fucking stupid. They doing it to you again. They got all y'all tripping about the Somalis. All they got to do is give you somebody brown that's doing a little debauchery, and now y'all all 100% focused on, oh, you know what our problem is as white Americans? Them goddamn Somalis. That's the goddamn problem. Yeah, we need to focus. We need to have a national focus on those Somalis with their little small-ass little scamming operation they got going on. As if every single racial, ethnic, and religious group in this country don't got some kind of government contractual scamming going on. White folks do it, black folks do it, Africans do it, Asians do it. Everybody in this country is taking advantage of how the government just be throwing away money. Listen, the government will buy $4.6 million worth of paper clips and put them in a closet on the third floor of some undisclosed government building. All right, that's where your tens of thousands of dollars go. All right, just sitting there. All right, next to the goddamn 50 rolls of goddamn film, next to the goddamn 100 stacks of goddamn white printer paper that they buy. They don't care. The government prints money, they don't care. So y'all talking about money that the government print out anyway. This ain't your damn money. The government been printing that shit out. That's why it's getting it is okay. Shit, I ain't got no problem with somebody running their game. Let them get it. America is a scam. America literally scams and steals money from the world. And y'all sitting in your house, the nerve, y'all sitting in your house thinking, oh my God, those goddamn Somalis. All you white people forget that it's you white people who create the scams, start the scams, teach other people how to do the scams because you getting your cut off the top. You think the government ain't getting a cut off this shit? Huh? You think they just giving out money like they ain't getting nothing back? Y'all crazy, man. Y'all white, look at y'all. Them Somali, y'all wasn't even thinking about no damn Somali or Minnesota until they brought up a few scam. Now all y'all white people are pretending like the Republicans didn't just scam your ass out of your farms, didn't just scam your ass out of your generational wealth that none of y'all really goddamn deserve because y'all got that shit given to you by the biggest welfare program in the history of America when the goddamn white men in suits gave you white peasants a little bit of land, all right, so that you can cultivate the products they need to sell on the global stage. Now they don't need y'all little ass farmers no more because big tech is now the farmer. Big tech is now the homeowners and renters. Big tech is now big oil. See, big oil used to run shit. Big oil, big oil and big logging used to run shit. Now big tech runs shit. Big tech is the ones that's running the cab service. Big tech is the one that's got you freaking typing in codes to get into your Airbnb. Big tech taking all that shit, right? Y'all want to talk about some criminal illegal aliens when R2-D2 about to come and take all your shit. What you gonna do? Protest and tell them to get the fuck up out your country when them robots come? They're going to be working 10 times better than all them criminal illegal aliens that you guys hate so much, huh? Yeah. So when them robots and that AI come take your shit, so while the government is firing everybody, while private corporations is firing everybody to replace all you Mickey Flickies, all right, you overhead individuals with them robots and that AI, y'all still looking at some goddamn Somalis and their little $5 they done took from the American government while the American government is in their country right now stealing billions upon billions of dollars to build their white Wakandas. Get the fuck out of here. Y'all white people y'all racist ass white. Y'all so stupid. Y'all wonder why y'all ain't got shit. All they gotta do is point at somebody brown, and they just take all the shit they want from you white folk. All y'all hard work, all your lifting yourself up from your bootstraps, while they untying your goddamn shoes while you looking at the brown person. It's ridiculous every time. First is the Haitians, then the Mexicans, then Puerto Ricans. It's everybody, right? Everybody but you. Everybody but them white people in suits that you guys keep voting for. Everybody's the problem but you white people, What about all that fentanyl in y'all community that's killing y'all? That's a white scam, all right, created by white people. And guess what? The results of that scam is you dying. How about that shit? How about all them pharmacies in your white neighborhoods, Them white-owned pharmacies that's selling y'all crack, cocaine, and heroin labeled as another name. How about that shit? How about the reason why all y'all is cracked out and fentanyl out? Because those white pharmacies have no problem putting the goddamn methadone clinic, putting the goddamn I guess we trying to, what's the new drugs? The drugs to stop you from doing the other drugs, Or putting the goddamn pain clinics, don't kind of shit in your community so that y'all, so Peebo and Daryl can go get some Adderall. Cause they got a splinter and shit. And y'all want to complain about some goddamn Somalis. Y'all poor, racist ass, ignorant ass white folks need to educate yourselves. And realize that every single time you guys come close to start looking at those rich white folks in suits, they give you a brown person to be mad at. And y'all fall for it every goddamn time. When y'all gonna elevate your thinking? When y'all gonna stop falling for the bullshit? When y'all gonna stop looking at everybody and diddy-dotty as the enemy except for that white motherfucking chitlin-faced bastard with the suit that you keep voting for? How about that shit? Anyway, tell me what y'all think in the comment section. Use Afro Think Tank, learn something, teach some. I'm out.
These scams in Minnesota should not surprise anybody.
Because they're the result of the same exact manufactured outrage that Republicans have been using for decades. Because just so we're clear, this was always the end goal. This is exactly why they manufactured this fake scandal in the first place. Republicans know that they cannot outright tell you that their plan is to make your life worse in every possible way just so they can give even more tax cuts and taxpayer-funded subsidies to their billionaire buddies, because they know that you will be upset at that for good reason. So what they do instead is find a scapegoat, usually a community of black or brown people, often immigrants, who they can then accuse of committing crimes that magically can only ever be addressed by eliminating programs that you and your community rely on too. Republicans run the same playbook over and over again. In the 80s, they created the welfare queen narrative as justification to eliminate the Aid to Families with Dependent Children program. By the time that it was revealed that the overwhelming majority of those welfare queen stories were either outright false or were grossly exaggerated, it didn't matter anymore, because they'd already successfully taken basic income support away from millions of struggling American families. They used the same playbook in the 90s and early 2000s when they told y'all that greedy fraudsters were suing companies into bankruptcy, pointing to and scapegoating 80-year-old Stella Liebeck after she was horrifically burned by McDonald's coffee. Now, in 2025, most Americans know that Stella Liebeck was actually a victim of a corporate and political smear campaign, and that her wounds, which nearly killed her, were worth suing over. But that doesn't matter, because in the meantime, Republicans successfully passed legislation to shield corporations and make it 1,000,000 times harder for everyday Americans like you to get justice when harmed by corporations. Hell, this isn't even the first time they've run this same exact playbook on y'all just this year alone. They used the same exact tactics to keep y'all from realizing that that big, beautiful bill of theirs was going to absolutely devastate rural America, rip healthcare away from millions of y'all, and leave millions of conservative families without the food assistance that they rely on to help feed their children. All they had to do was get on TV a couple of times and make vague allusions to hypothetical legions of able-bodied 21-year-old black men who were playing video games all day and living off of free Medicaid somehow. They've got y'all so conditioned to go along with this playbook that they don't even have to offer up specific scapegoats or detailed descriptions of the problem they claim exists any longer. They can just hand wave in the general direction of any community who doesn't look, live, or love like you, and you'll just happily nod along. Honestly, the only thing surprising about the newest manufactured outrage over Somali daycares is that they even bothered to get this specific about their newest chosen scapegoats when y'all have shown that that effort isn't even necessary.
In this country, relative to those nations that we like to compare ourselves to, is precisely because of the racial resentment that says we don't want those people getting over. There was actually a study done on healthcare internationally that found the single biggest factor to explain why the United States does not have universal healthcare relative to Western industrialized nations. They figured out all these different elements. And they did what they call a regression analysis, big social science term, where they controlled for all these different factors. They found the single biggest correlated factor with the opposition to universal healthcare in this country was the belief that black folk would abuse the program. So now you got millions of white folk without health care, but by God, at least those black folks aren't getting over. This is what W.E.B. Du Bois called the psychological wage of whiteness. Right? It doesn't pay your bills, but psychologically it tells you, well, I might not have much, but at least I'm not black. At least I'm not brown. At least I'm not red. At least I'm not a person of color. But see, at the end of the day, that doesn't put your kid through college. It doesn't pay the emergency room bills, and it doesn't pay your house note. We've got to be willing to have this conversation. Sadly, as a country, we're running away from it. Trying to downplay the issue of race, trying to talk about class in a vacuum to try to bring everybody on board, afraid that if we talk about race, working class white folks will bolt from any progressive movement. But what working class white folks got to understand is the very reason that they're hurting. The very reason that they're so disempowered is because of racial inequity. In other words, they were not the targets of it. To be sure, people of color were, but those of us who are white become, over time, the collateral damage of the system of white supremacy and racial inequity. So we need to be clear on it.
A lot of white people are so racist, they don't even consider themselves to be racist. I know that sounds weird, but here are 3 things that white people have told me that they don't think is racist. Number 1, using a slur, but not intentionally meaning it. If they use the N-word in songs, that's not racist because they're just singing along. Or if they use a slur and they don't say it to somebody's face, then it's not racist because you're not meaning it in a prejudicial way, you're just using that term. So their definition of racism is so intense that those little things do not count to them. That is just like how you treat people on an everyday basis. Number 2, what they do consider racism has to be incredibly overt and extreme for them to finally be like, okay, yeah, like hate criming someone, calling them a slur to their face, or doing something discriminatory like firing them because they're black. It has to be so intense that that's the only way that they will recognize that they are truly racist people. And number 3, because everyone around them is racist. White supremacy is so ingrained in society that each of these behaviors is normalized. And because of that, many white people truly believe that they aren't racist, and that the only way that someone can be racist is by extremely and overtly engaging in these behaviors. It's insane how much they detach.
How does racism hurt white people? I got this comment on a video that I made earlier, and I think it's awesome because it gives me an opportunity to talk about something that is very important to me. For nearly a decade, I dedicated my life to racial justice. I don't talk about it too much on this app because it's not as relevant to the work that I'm doing now, but it's something that I really care about and have done a lot of personal and collective work around. Now, I try to avoid speaking on this topic too much unless it directly concerns me as a white person, just because I feel like there's a lot of monopolizing discussions on this app by creators who are in positions of privilege. But since this directly concerns me and is something I can talk about, here goes. So first of all, we think of white shame as something that is relatively modern and that we, like white people, feel in response to thinking about the harms done in the past. But it's not. White shame is as old as white people are. And that's because being an oppressor or being in a position of oppression, regardless of how involved you are, is extremely damaging to your mental and physical health. I'm going to butcher his name, but Paulo Freire, who was an education and racial and class liberation thinker, he talks about this a lot in Pedagogy of the Oppressed. There have also been quite a few studies done on various oppressive groups, including Yazidis, that show that oppressive genocidal behavior is toxic to your health. It impacts blood pressure, cancer rate, all these different things. Part of the reason we don't understand why this is because as a society, we've completely discounted the mind-body connection. We treat them like they're separate things, and they're really not. Hurting other people makes us sick. You ever heard the saying, hurt people, hurt people? The problem with that is that it's more than just a one-time incident. It's an iterative cycle. So hurt people, then the people who did the hurting feel guilty. And the only way that they know to feel better is to keep hurting. And that is addiction. I know that seems like a far leap, but it's really not. It's this idea that to cope with what you're doing, you do more of the coping mechanism, which makes you feel worse, which makes you have to do more of what you were doing. My point, and the reason this is so problematic, is that white supremacy is both the cause of white shame and discomfort and the thing we turn to feel better about that shame and discomfort. Privilege is an addiction. It doesn't feel good to contribute to hurting other people. It doesn't feel good to have power and advantages over others. There's also ample research to suggest that being of service, being kind to other people, being compassionate, showing empathy, those things are good for us. And it's important that we get this right, because a lot of white people won't care about racial justice until they realize how much it impacts them, unfortunately.
Studies have found what we've always known: racism makes you age faster. Researchers have actually found that on a genetic level, carrying so much hatred is very, very hard on your body. And racism actually activates the same parts of the brain that being stressed out does. That's why we are seeing so many people who are Republicans that are aging so poorly. Like Caroline Leavitt, she's 28 years old. And so many other people that you would swear are at least 10 to 20 years older than they actually are. And that's because racists are literally making themselves sick. This just shows that being racist is not a natural response, and in fact, it is a socialized behavior that causes harm not just to society, not just to people of color, but to the person who's actually being racist. It's isolating, and it certainly takes a physical and mental toll. So this is my message to all white people out there. Even if you don't give a shit about anybody else, even if you have been racist for the last 20 years, think of your health, because you are looking worse and worse every day, and you are literally aging like milk. Stop doing this to yourself. Stop being hateful and actually choose love for once. Okay, bye. White people need to talk more about race with their family and community. I know that this sounds counterintuitive because your feed is probably filled with white people talking about race when it is obviously an issue that affects people of color, but the problem is that it's perpetuated in white families in ways that they do not realize. I am trying to call out the racism that is either explicit or implicit among white circles. People act racist a lot of the time behind closed doors, which is something that I, as a white person, see a lot. It doesn't matter if I'm in Chicago, if I'm in rural California, if I'm in rural places, generally speaking, white people are racist in the US. And sometimes in ways that they don't even realize. So my goal with my content is to see this, to report on it, to encourage white people to evaluate critically what that means. Although it might seem like I'm trying to take away voices of people of color, I'm not trying to speak on the effects of racism or anything like that. I'm trying to talk about how it's systemic and encourage other white people to evaluate their biases, because I understand this because of the environment I was raised in, which is very conservative.
So getting a lot of comments from white people about them experiencing what they perceive to be racism through things like nasty comments, bullying, even violence toward them, even in times where the perpetrator has said, "This is because you're white." And those are valid, traumatizing experiences. Nothing I'm saying is intended to invalidate the trauma of those. What I'm saying is that racism, the system based on race, is so much bigger than bullying and even interpersonal violence. Racism in the United States is lead in the water, it's maternal mortality rates, it's police killings, it's educational outcomes, it's poverty, it's social media apps that ignore Black folks' stories unless those stories are being talked about by white people. And all of that trickles down to and is fed into by interpersonal interactions in schools, in the workplace, in communities. We see all these videos of white folks coming for Black folks for doing very innocuous things, but they're being harassed by white people. Stories about people who are treated differently by a racist coworker, but if they go to HR, there's really no feedback or really nothing they can do unless that racist person completely crosses what we have determined to be the line. It's, I would never let my daughter date a Black man. It's those Facebook arguments where you see white people automatically dismissing or bringing up the bad past of a victim of a police killing, dismissing their humanity overall based on the fact that they sold weed a few years ago. So it is correct that a person can be on the receiving end of race-based prejudice, interpersonally, individually, and it's also a fact that those things are not the same, and they don't have the same far-reaching effects. It doesn't mean that they're not sad and horrible. It just means that you have to accept, well, I'm asking you to accept that your sadness and horror from what you experience coexists with a system that is built from the top down to punish people who are not white. That is state-sanctioned violence against people who are not white. And I say state-sanctioned because there's nothing being done about it. Your stories are sad. I have no doubt that those were scary. I'm just asking you to accept them in conjunction with this larger picture and not see it as like who's more oppressed, because I think that the results are clear in the way our country is built, and the work is in people like us with white skin changing that.
Okay, so I'm just minding my business and I go on Facebook and I'm scrolling through and I see this post of Donald Trump's face, and he's saying that he's ending TPS for Minnesotan Somalian people. And I'm like immediately like, what is TPS? And also I'm just thinking about my friends who are Somalian who live in Minnesota. And I'm reading through the comments and they're just horribly racist, congratulating him, saying make America safe again. And I read an article about what Trump is saying, and he's claiming that Minnesotan Somalians are violent and they're gang members, and he's ending TPS, which is essentially I can't remember the actual what it's called, but I think it's like a temporary placement for people from Somalia who are fleeing from war and seeking refuge in America. So I started looking into how many people that are Somalian are here on TPS, and it's 700 or less. The Somalian population in Minnesota is around 70,000. So like, how does that make sense? And then I was thinking about class a few weeks ago, and in sociology we learned about a term called scapegoating, and that's where you blame a minority for problems. And Trump is again leading with gang violence and fraud. That's what he's saying. These are violent people. He's saying Somali people are violent people. They are an easy target for two reasons. One, their race, and two, their religion. A lot of the times those things are easily identifiable. And I just sitting here thinking, holy shit, I'm seeing modern fucking day racism, because the headline should actually say Trump hates Somalians and wants to kick them out of Minnesota because he thinks they're violent. And people are really congratulating him. And I'm thinking, what the fuck, dude? That's just promoting racism and hate, and it just makes me sick. Makes me fucking sick, you guys. Makes me wonder about all the policies and all the bullshit we're told. And we just sit on there and we fucking believe it. We don't even look into it. We don't even question it. We just fucking believe it. And it encourages racism, and I'm so disgusted by that. The comments on there were so disgusting. Like, let's do better.
The Somalis in Minnesota are so good. We need to grant them citizenship like ASAP. Think about it. They are essentially being 100% American. You see, when I was little, when I came to this country, I thought it was all about working hard, doing your best, and you're gonna make it. As I get older, I realized, no, it's all about what is the next scam. We need to get them an office at JP Morgan Chase or something, you know, in the C-suites, because their scamming skills are as good as theirs. Come on, we gotta be real. It's about to be 2026, so in 2026, if you still believe that it's hard work, it's, you know, it's the grit that gets you to success, bro, come on, wake up. So yeah, if you're a Republican or a conservative, you should be looking up to these Somalians that you guys think that they are scamming everybody, because they are not the only ones, baby. Every state, there's a scam, okay? I'm just gonna say, you know, ex-governor of Florida, he scammed the fuck out of the state. But guess what? It doesn't matter. You conservatives actually don't care about this. You guys are just hating on them because they found the next grift before you guys, okay? So get the fuck out of here with all this Somali people scamming bullshit. Just suck it up, okay? Find a loophole, close it, and suck it up.
You guys, on some real, I know we're laughing, but like low-key ain't shit funny. Like ain't shit funny. These people, and this is exactly what I knew Trump calling us out would do, is make these loser ass people feel emboldened enough to come to our communities, wreak havoc in our communities, and call us out because they couldn't make something of themselves. Like, and the thing that makes all this so ironic is the president, like, aren't you a felon? Like, what? It's like what are we even speaking about? Like, what are we talking about here, right? But these brainwashed individuals are so focused on immigrants and minorities that they can't see past the brainwashing. Like, it literally pisses me off, y'all. Like, I don't find this to be funny at all. Like, I know we're making jokes about it, but it enrages me, y'all. Like, it makes me so mad because the hypocrisy and, like, I don't know, this narrative. I just miss when we were freaking inconspicuous. Nobody knew who we were. We're minding our business. Like, please, like, oh.
The Somali fraud documentary is just 2,000 mules done by an amateur propagandist. Now, both videos set out to prove a hypothesis, which, even if someone vehemently goes against my own beliefs, if they can prove their hypothesis, more power to them, and I will accept the results. Problem is, if they're unable to prove their hypothesis, both these videos resort to two forms of manipulative rhetoric in order to push their biasy along. The first is just asking questions, which just asking questions is what made Tucker Carlson's whole career. You innocently ask more and more questions to start to create a connection between two things, and even if you can't prove a connection between the two, your audience will make that connection for you, and now you have manipulated your audience. In the documentary, they went up to several different daycare centers and said, man, if they would let us in, I mean, if they were above board, why wouldn't they let us in? Obviously they should. It's the same when a cop says, hey, if you didn't do anything wrong, you should let me search your car. Then the second is sea lioning. And if you don't know Mr. Rupp here on TikTok, he is a teacher, does a fantastic job explaining manipulative rhetoric. And sea lioning is essentially when someone will continue to hone in and hound a point towards you asking questions, similar to just asking questions, and say, well, do you have any evidence to prove me wrong? And even if you do provide that evidence, they just circle back around to asking the original question, trying to get you frustrated while they stay calm. And there are already fact checkers that have come out and proved claims or statements in that video completely false. There was a daycare center where they weren't allowed in and they were trying to make the claim, well, if they weren't allowing us in, why not? And it turns out they blurred out the hours of operation of that daycare center, which would have shown that they were there when it was closed. Now, is there fraud in Minnesota? Yes. Have there already been arrests and people have pled guilty? Yes. But utilizing old information and manipulative rhetoric to push your point forward does not actually help move things along, but it will help your base get angry at a certain group of people, which seemed to be the goal.
Yesterday morning, I was called by the owner because unfortunately someone came in to our daycare. We looked and saw what happened, and we saw that the suspect came in from the back, broke in from the back kitchen, and he also destroyed the wall to come in. As we walked around the daycare, we saw that our office doors was broken into as well. We saw that, unfortunately, there was important documentation, enrollment of the children, and also employee documentation that was gone. There were also checkbooks that were ripped from our check papers that were ripped from our book. This is devastating news, and we don't know why this is targeting our Somali community, as one video made by a specific individual made this all happen. We've been receiving hateful messages through our voice notes threatening us since the past couple of days, including one that happened yesterday morning when after the break-in. This is frightening and exhausting because this is happening to us Somali communities as Somali Americans. We are supposed to stand with each other and help each other through everything that's happening. This is also sad that a video can cause all of this. I want to say that there are hundreds of daycares out there, Somali daycares that are out there, and we all help our children and everyone in our community. We have high quality daycares, and this is very sad news that one individual who made a false claim about fraud that is happening in the daycares engaged everyone else to come and do this to us.
Like, do people not remember the 4th grade when we learned, maybe it was more like high school, but like when you learned about scapegoats and the history of Nazi Germany? Like, are people just forgetting? It's in my city now. It's in Minneapolis. I've seen like little YouTube independent documentaries about the Somali community here, and they're on this fraud claim thing. Like, okay, some people committed fraud. How about the president? How about the president committing fraud? How about all the billionaires committing fraud? Do we really care about the people that, okay, they're committing some fraud because they actually need the money? That does not bother me at all. It does not bother me. Them speaking their native tongue does not bother me at all. Are we forgetting? Are we forgetting school?
Fuck this, fuck that, and bitch, fuck you. Fuck this, fuck shit, fuck your daddy too. No, I ain't forget your motherfucker too. Motherfucker, fuck your blood and this fuckery they got us going through. Some fuck-ass white man long ago got all his fuck-ass friends on board with fucking up the world for sport, with fucked up weapons, ways and words. Now fast forward to present day, their fuckery has had its way, but as sure as F-U-C-K, this dog will have its fucking day. Fuck this, fuck that, and bitch, fuck you. Fuck this, fuck shit, fuck your daddy too. No, I ain't forget your motherfucker too. Motherfucker, fuck your blood and this fuckery that got us going through. Those fuckers put us under spells, said fuck y'all to a living hell. Fuck all the laws that nature tells, so we die cursed while they live well. But fuck, I've had it up to here. I curse their curses with no fear. I give no fucks, I live to hear the song that justice sings so clear.
Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! Free Sudan! Boycott diamonds and gold! We most definitely cannot forget about the people of Sudan!
Thanks for watching Afro Think Tank. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And follow me on Substack and Patreon for more content. Remember, it's Pan-Africanism or nothing.